I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Let's get our phone guest in. Let's make sure he's there. Bruce, are you with us?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Bruce? All right, we got Bruce. We got Birdsey here. So we have Satanic Panic 81 with us in the house tonight.
Say hello.
Happy solstice, everybody.
Oh, actually, that's right. It's Festivus.
Today, and you know what? I have a nice Festivus little bit for you here that we're not going to be able to play because the computer's not doing anything.
I have it on the...
Oh, do you have it on a stick?
Yeah.
You know, I have a stick too, so I'll do. We'll do a stick. All right. We're gonna go on the run. Brian, I apologize. We're not this bad of a show, but this station is kind of a thing. So tonight,
now I can blame Billy.
Tonight we have
Turn me
Satanic
down
Panic
here.
81, Brian Birdsey, and Bruce Tedford on the line. A couple of Jersey boys out here in the swamps of Connecticut. And I did before the show confirm, at least with Brian, that even though he's into like a lot of hardcore music and kind of like a really hardcore punk guy, he still loves Springsteen, and I think that's just implanted in them. So, Bruce, I want to ask you, are you a Springsteen guy too?
Yeah, I like him. I watched the Springsteen on Broadway on Netflix last night.
Okay, all right, Springsteen on Broadway. And that was, what, it was like 3 different shows they did, or was that just one show?
I think it was one show. It was like 2.5 hours long. People
Okay.
were paying like $800 for tickets to that thing.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, I don't think it was worth $800.
No. All right, so we got Brian here. We've said the name twice. Let's get into it. What exactly is Satanic Panic 81?
Do you want like a short origin story?
Well, I guess the first thing we'll mention is that it's a band. 'Cause
Yeah.
we didn't really get to that, but yeah.
You didn't get to that?
Well, no, I didn't.
Did you do the call letters?
John, honestly, I'm over on this side. This thing isn't working. You know, I'm trying. So, Brian, give us everything. Short origin story.
So nervous.
Yeah. So me and Bruce have been friends for about 15 years now. We played in a band together. Back in the day, hardcore band. That band didn't work out, but we stayed friends the whole time. And then a couple of years ago, he and I and our friend Brett were doing a horror movie podcast. And in that time, we started to really latch on to the soundtracks of the movies that we were talking about. So Bruce was really pushing me to work on this with him. So it's his idea, and I just went, picked up a keyboard and started screwing around, and we made a demo. And I wasn't really sure where we were gonna go with it after that. And then Bruce, just being as enthusiastic as he is about everything, he's like, "Yo, we gotta make an album." So we made this album, and so this is our first one. It's called Sacrifice Hunter, and yeah.
And what I wanted to bring up about this album, so what you are kind of describing the music as, at least the term that you kind of want to make stick with it, is HorrorWave.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like I guess the big subgenre association is retrowave, but to me, and I don't know if I think I've talked about this with Bruce, but a lot of the retrowave stuff sounds like the Kung Fury soundtrack, and it sounds like something out of like Miami Vice or the Wraith.
Yeah.
Oh man,
See,
I love the Wraith. No, I love the Wraith.
What other place are you going to hear a couple of guys go, "Oh, the Wraith"?
no, I'm on the opposite of his loving the Wraith, but that's okay.
Oh no, I get it, but still, you're like, "Oh, the
Yeah,
Wraith."
oh yeah. We know what the Wraith is. Yeah.
And we Bruce and I are big Phantasm fans.
John's a big Phantasm fan.
And like obviously John Carpenter and stuff like that. So we definitely wear our influences on our sleeve, but also like new wave, like Depeche Mode and The Cure and goth stuff.
So okay,
so it's all there.
So since we're so early in the show and we have an hour to talk, should we just dive right into one of the songs right now?
I'd say so.
So people can go, okay, now we got a bass line. Let's continue from there.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to play, let's see. Let's get the track set up here. We're going to play track 3, which, as it scrolls, it is called, give me a second, scrolling, Alter Varnish?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to play Alter Varnish. We're going to come back in about 3 minutes and enjoy the sounds of Satanic Panic 81. And, of course, now that's not playing. Hold on 1 second.
Uh-oh.
My God. There we go. There we go. Satanic Panic 81, Alter Varnish from the Sacrifice Hunter album.
I feel like I heard that before.
It's awesome, man. I feel like I'm watching, like, I don't know, like Halloween 3 or something and Season of the Witch, and it's right in the back there.
Halloween 3 is so good.
It is. It's a very good movie that gets crapped on a lot. All right, so I'm going to read off because I've got the packaging, and I want to talk about the actual packaging and how you're putting this out.
Sure.
So I'm going to read off the idea. So the Sacrifice Hunter, you guys put out an album, and the generalized idea of it is that you made an album, a soundtrack to a movie that doesn't exist.
Yes.
And I think that's, as far as, and I don't want to use the word gimmick, but as far as idea goes, I think that's totally cool.
We are both just huge fans of, like, every slasher movie that comes out, even the bad ones. Like, I just love them. And so it was just fitting that, like, most, like, horror directors get their first start doing a slasher movie because the formula is there.
Right.
And so it just made sense for us to, like, want to try it the same way. Right. And we wanted to make something that was as much visual as it was auditory, I guess is the right word. So making I both of us grew up in, like, VHS culture. I practically lived at the video store, my local video store, that before a Blockbuster came in, and I would just I was at that point. It was great because you just go in there and you would just buy some or rent something based on how just insane the cover was.
Right. I still remember, and I'm not the huge horror guy, but like I was a video kid too, and I remember like the poster of Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've never seen that movie, but that poster was up in my video store for about 8 years.
Death Spa. Did you ever see that one?
No.
That one is just wild. It looks insane, and I remember renting it and like just not even knowing what to like. I'm like, I don't think I like this, but I'm gonna watch this at least 3 more times before I return it.
Did you at least rewind it before you brought it back?
Of course, every time.
Were you
rewind or die?
Rewind or die. All right. So Bruce, whose idea was it to kind of package this the way you package it? Because the package, okay, I've got it here, and we've got a picture we're going to put up on our website later on. It looks like a DVD package, but it still has that feeling of an old school VHS package. Kind of how the slipcover sits in it, and then you have the little green horror sticker, which people will remember from those days. The great artwork on the front, and then the back actually looks like like it's describing the story of the movie, and at the bottom, everything, your names are in bold, and everybody else that's been involved with it is at the bottom, and kind of like looks like producer roles and stuff. And our friend Larry Dwyer from Connecticut Cult Classics, who does the vocals on the one song that has vocals, spoken vocals, is actually playing the Sacrifice Hunter. So, Bruce, was this your idea, or was this both your ideas to kind of come up with this old school packaging?
Yeah, you know what? That whole clamshell packaging thing that looks like a DVD case. That was O'Brien. You know, he put a lot of that together.
Okay, so Brian came up with that idea. Who came up with the idea to put this thing out on cassette? Because this is, and I want you to explain this too. For people that want to get this in a hard copy, is it only available in cassette, and then you have to download it otherwise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's economically doing it on cassette was the only way we could do it. Originally I wanted it to look like a miniature version of a VHS slipcover.
Right.
But that would have cost way too much money to do because of the to get a prototype made and everything to have it fit. It would just been way too expensive. It wasn't within our budget. This was not within our budget either. But it was it was better. But yeah, so in order to make I don't want to say profit because we're not really making any money, but in order not to lose our shirts, we could make 100 copies of this, which when we made 100, we thought we were like, oh, this is crazy. We're never going to get rid of these. I'm going to have 60 of these sitting around my house for the rest of my life. But if we wanted to do it on vinyl, it would have had to have been at least 200 copies, if not more.
And how, if I can ask, how has it been going so far?
So at one point we were quote unquote sold out of them because I had a lot of them on consignment. And then after Thanksgiving, I started going around to the stores to see who had copies left. And some of them had sold their copies off. Other ones didn't even put them out on display.
That's some support right there.
Yeah,
for you,
it felt real good.
Yeah.
So we still have a handful of copies left. They're basically all gone now.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good thing. Now, Bruce, you guys are living in separate states. You're down here in Connecticut, Brian. Bruce, you're up in Jersey. Are you both blanketing these things? So are the hot spots Connecticut and Jersey to get this?
No. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, and we, in my travels back and forth to New Jersey, there's no record store in New York on the way. And I'm not driving into the city and having them say, "Oh yeah, I'll take one on consignment," because that's not worth my time.
Yeah, that's
We
kind
have
of
some in Toronto too.
Oh yeah, we do have some in Toronto.
Ooh,
That's right.
international.
All right.
Don't forget about Canada.
Yeah, and we've been selling them online, like to, I think 4 or 5 continents now. So
The Scandinavians must be going nuts.
Yeah, I don't want to like come down on you guys with the Canadian thing, but if they're on consignment, you're just gonna get like an old Rush shirt. That's it.
Bruce, you want that Rush shirt?
Yeah, what size are you, Bruce? I'll get you a Roll the Bones shirt for a copy
Yeah, I'll
of the
take it. I'm
Sacrifice.
an extra large. I've seen Rush like 10 times live.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw
Took my
Rush
back
once.
the
It was
other day.
great.
See?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, it's got to be more than pretty good if you went 10 times. Don't tell me pretty good, and I'm like, I've gone 10 times.
So a big fan of lasers.
Yeah, they do a lot of laser stuff. So here's a question. So you guys are starting out, you're getting all this going. what? Okay, so musically, what are you each playing? Are you both playing keyboards?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're both playing keyboards.
So I guess, Bruce, I guess we can go through the anatomy of it. Bruce writes a lot of like the leads, and then he sends them to me, and I just try to work with them, and then we just end up sending files back and forth to each other,
Right?
And adding parts and evening things out, and like arranging and stuff like that. We're writing an album now, and we want to have more. So the pool of songs that we had for this album, it was very shallow. So for this next one, we're writing a lot, and basically every idea that we have, we're sending back and forth to each other. So that way, even if it doesn't work out for a full song, we can drop it somewhere in another song and see how it goes. I mean, it's kind of a difficult thing to sit next to each other and like write parts. It's not like, playing in a conventional band. But yeah,
it's HorrorWave. It's got to be different.
Yeah, you definitely. I would assume. Yeah, when you're now, when you guys, you said you were in a hardcore band together.
We're in another hardcore band now.
Oh, okay. What Bruce? What do you play?
I play guitar.
You're a guitar player, and you?
I scream my head off.
Oh, you're the singer. All right. All right. What's the name of that band?
You and All Your Friends Are Dead.
You and All Your Friends Are Dead. You guys doing anything? Do you want to promote anything there with any album or anything like that?
We have a full length out, also on cassette. It's self-titled. It's 13 songs. It's about 8 minutes long.
I was going to ask you, when you said 13 songs in like punk hardcore, it's like 7 minutes long.
Well, there's one song that's like 2 seconds. It's called Planet of the Gapes. And also,
can you get a copy of that for John? I'm pretty sure he needs that in his life.
Sure. There's and that one's like just a lot of hardcore or a lot of horror stuff as well, and also just me hating on Nazis and things like that. So
all right.
Tell them where we played a show. Tell them where we played a show last month.
Oh yeah, we played our first show last month in the basement of a karate dojo in upstate New York.
Okay.
And my daughter was there. She's 3.
You got to get them started early, right?
Where I think the whole show was 7 minutes long, no breaks.
Yeah.
just beginning to end 7 minutes.
Is it? I mean, I know you guys love what you're doing. Is it worth it to set all your equipment up for a 7-minute show?
Totally, it's
okay.
The best.
All
so
right.
we all the bands that Bruce and I have played in, like playing anything more than 20 minutes is a drag. I don't want to see a band play longer than 20. The best shows I've seen are 20 minutes or less. And, it's hardcore, so it's supposed to be a lot of energy. And in 20 minutes, you're putting all your energy out there.
So you've obviously never gone to one of the Rush shows with Bruce, because those are like 3.5 hours long.
No. So those are fine. Like big concerts like that. Like if Depeche Mode comes to town and they're going to play for 3 hours, I will be in my seat for 3 hours just watching the whole thing. I'm totally into that. But like as far as like that sort of music, anything longer than 20 minutes is a drag.
All right. Here's something we had on, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more on the second half. Curtis Spieler here was a couple weeks ago, director of a couple of great indie horror movies, The Devil's Well being one of them. And we have Larry Dwyer on, so we've had some people, the Caprolozis from the CT Horror Fest.
Oh, you got it right.
And the folks from Mobile Horror Fest. So whenever we have people that are kind of horror-centric, I like to ask them, so I'm going to ask each one of you guys, what is your all-time favorite horror movie? And what's a horror movie that is really popular or like a lot of people love that you don't like or can't stand? And we'll start with Bruce, because Bruce is on the phone line. We want to hear what he says.
All right. So my favorite horror movie of all time is The Shining.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like what Kubrick did with it. It was so creepy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think when people get down on it, it's a bad adaptation, but still a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the novel, but it's on its own. It doesn't have to be the novel. Okay, so The Shining.
Yeah, I kind of like the way he did it, because it was kind of like a slap in the face to Stephen King. I mean, I like Stephen King, but I mean the way he changed things up on him must have drove him crazy.
Oh yeah, and he notoriously hates that movie.
Yeah. One of a horror movie that I can't stand that everybody loves, I would have to say The Grudge.
Ugh.
Oh, which one was that?
The Grudge.
Yeah.
People blew that movie up like, oh my god, it's the scariest thing of all time, and
No,
this and
it's
that,
not.
and I saw it and I was so disappointed.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I can't remember much about it. So
I think that was one of those PG-13 movies too.
Yeah,
it?
that was in that time when they were doing a lot of PG-13 horror.
That's not a horror movie.
Yeah. All right, Brian, what do you got?
So,
Brian, I saw Brian when I was talking to Bruce looking up like,
yeah,
I
just
don't
trying
wanna,
to.
oh no.
Well, so my favorite movie of all time is The Exorcist. I love that movie. I'll always love it. I think it's really well acted, and there's not really a big. I mean, other than Tubular Bells, there's no real soundtrack to that movie. It's just a lot of pea soup. But it scared me when I was a kid, and I watch it. I think I watch it probably about once a year. So there's that, and I mean this year. I thought Hereditary was really good.
John,
You're on the right side of the wall.
I liked Annihilation. Like I loved It Follows. I thought that one was really good. That didn't come out this year, obviously, but as far as
saw
like
that, right?
It Follows. Oh, yeah. I didn't like that. The sexually transmitted ghost.
Yeah. Sex Ghost.
Sex
The
ghost.
soundtrack was great though. Disaster Piece.
No,
It was a cool soundtrack. It looked cool. It looked like an indie. Like not even a horror movie. It had a very kind of like the colors and the palettes and everything.
Yeah,
had a very specific look to it. And there was one scene in it that scared the crap out of me. But
the tall guy
coming through the door. I'm still like I don't. But other than that, I was like, and I thought the ending was really. There's a whole ending piece that takes place in a swimming pool that was, to me, I just thought not good. But I know a lot of people that love that movie. I know the guys from the Mobile Horror Companion call that one "It Swallows" because at least two of them aren't fans. But all right, so what's one that's like popular or mega like?
I hate the new It movie.
Okay.
I hate it. I think it's so bad. Well, I think it's an okay movie, but people love it so much, and it's just not scary at all. It's way too much CGI. Tim Curry was so terrifying as that clown in the miniseries,
right?
Like he really scared me, and I even when I watch it now, like just the way he moves around and like some of the little mannerisms that he does, like it's perfect that a stage actor, like who did musical theater his whole life, is doing something like that because it's a stage actor's role,
right?
And I hated the new one. I'm not looking forward. I'm gonna watch the sequel when it comes out, but like I was really glad that I didn't go see it in the theater.
All right. Hey, I enjoyed it.
I
but
don't disagree.
I enjoyed it, but I do. It seems like a year after it came out, it seems like it was popular when it came out, and then when you talk to a lot of these people that were hardcore horror fans, it seems like none of them like it. So
I didn't get the popularity of it myself. I watched it. I wasn't even scared. It's supposed to be scary. I don't. The original TV version was a lot more memorable.
Sure.
Which is saying something because the tail end of that miniseries didn't conclude very well.
Now, the like the part in the miniseries where they're looking at the photo book and like you see Pennywise dancing in the photo and then he like looks at them through the photo and like he turns and see it's really bad radio explanation, but that part always it does scare me every time. So I like that.
all right.
I got to ask you guys something. Being that you're Phantasm fans, and you really dive into the musical soundtracks of these horror movies, what soundtrack really drew you into the film for the first time, which really got you into that sort of portion of a horror movie, the actual music or the score even?
Bruce, you want to go first?
You know what? I wasn't real big on soundtracks like when I was younger, but lately, like there's a lot of good soundtracks. Like we were saying, like the It Follows by like Disaster Piece, and even like Stranger Things on Netflix. I like what Kyle Dixon does with that.
You do have to admit it is good.
Oh, I mean the music. More so for me when the first time I watched the first season of Stranger Things, the first episode. I know that there's visually, these kids are dressed like they're in the 80s. That's the time I grew up. It was the music that made me go, man, this feels like I'm watching.
Well, everything from the title sequence.
Yeah,
it's needful.
Oh,
things.
the title sequence is that kind of.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
For me, it actually wasn't a horror movie. It's Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh yeah,
I love that soundtrack.
I
love that theme. That doom doo 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 doo. It's so cool.
I've never seen Assault on Precinct 13.
I think that's the most Carpenter movie out of all of his movies.
So I saw the remake years ago.
Terrible.
It was terrible. So like a year ago, So a year ago, I have I don't have cable. I have I think it's called YouTube and all that stuff, and I have this thing called Pluto TV, and they show movies on there. And I Assault on Precinct 13 was on there. And the thing is with Pluto TV is internet TV, so they break into like weird commercials like in chunks and stuff for like 5 minutes at a time, 6 minutes at a time. So it kind of makes you not want to watch a movie so much. But I had never seen it before, and there's this scene in that movie where a guy shoots a little girl eating an ice cream cone
Right in the beginning, yeah.
right in the beginning, and I was like, wow, this is the most hardcore thing I've seen in a movie in a long time. And for whatever reason, I didn't finish it, but I was like, wow.
That thing used to be on all network TV, the syndicated TV networks around here. It was on all the time.
The remake or the original?
No, the original.
Yeah,
always. I'm surprised you didn't see it at any of that point.
It probably was at some point, but I probably
remember Channel 18.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was like constantly on there.
Yeah. Channel 38, the movie loft.
Yeah, the movie.
PIX. I'm sure you guys, being up in New Jersey, probably had a lot of the PIX stuff. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was Channel 5 out of New York?
Oh, yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
10 o'clock. You know where your children are. So, are there plans to play this stuff out live?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. It's just about getting the right equipment to do it, and if we need additional musicians to like bring this to the forefront, that's something that we planned on doing.
Okay.
And there's just a lot. I think there's a lot of moving parts with that, and so we're taking our time figuring it out. We're sort of gathering the gear to get that ball rolling.
Right. Well, we're not rushing you here. We just want to.
Oh, we want to do it. We really want to do it. The real question is like, how crazy are we going to go? Because it's funny too, because me and Bruce and I don't think we're airing out dirty laundry here. We got into an argument over this last week, and every time we got an argument over anything, like the next day, it's like, sorry, bro, which is great, and that's why he and I have been friends. For one, that's why we've been friends for so long, but also like why this thing works. Like we bring a lot of different things to the table, and we're gonna have to have pyrotechnics, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh, fireworks.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot more to talk about.
Sure.
Because we don't have any real PSAs to play, I don't have a disc over here sitting right here.
I'll find you one.
Well, I've got something better.
Okay.
You're listening to WESU, Middletown, at 88.1. What I say we do is I say we play the next track, take a break, and then if you want, we have time at the end, we could also play another track.
Sure.
If you want to do that.
Sure.
So track 5, it is coming around.
He's so open to it.
Well, I mean, right? We can get more Satanic Panic 81 out there for the folks. Track 5 is titled Fresh Kill. You're listening to Pina Comics, and we are here with Brian and Bruce from Satanic Panic 81, and this is from their debut album, The Sacrifice Hunter.
It's a Festivus miracle.
If you like the radio station, we're WESU Middletown. We would love for you to check us out and to go to the www.wesufm.org. And we're doing a pledge drive right now. We could use every little bit of money you can because it's a college radio station. But I'm sorry I subjected you to that.
Fix our foo bar. Fix our foo bar.
Yeah, fix our foo bar. We need money for that kind of stuff. So Bruce and or Brian, which one of you guys wants to give us all the information? So we've heard 2 songs so far. The last track was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
And I just want to throw this out there for anybody not to confuse them that Happy Festivus part at the end was not a part of the Satanic Panic 81. That was Today is Festivus, and we threw that in there. So where can everybody go to find this? If they, we already talked about physical record stores, but if they want to download it and listen to it tonight.
Sure. You can stream us on Apple Music and Spotify, as well as our Bandcamp page, which is satanicpanic81.bandcamp.com. That you can also buy a physical copy there, unless you feel like driving out to Toronto, which is fine.
Yeah, and then they got to get Bruce that Rush shirt. Now, Bruce, how did you guys? Maybe Bruce knows. Maybe I don't know. How did you guys get on Apple Music, man? I was super impressed because before Brian sent me the files to listen to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to check it out. I'm like, it's not going to be on here. And it was on there. I mean, and that's not against you, but it just seems to me like I didn't realize smaller bands got onto Apple Music.
So
There's a lot of smaller bands on there. I feel like Brian handles all that stuff, though. He's like the case guy, and he puts everything on the internet.
In order to do that, you have to kind of you basically have to put your music up through an aggregator, and then you sort of pay to send it to. It's like licensing. So
right.
you pay for a package and then you send it to like all of the streaming sites. And you could pick you could pick and choose. The more that you pick, the more expensive it is. So we just do it. Most of our friends listen to, if it's not Apple Music, it's Spotify. So actually he listens to Apple Music. I'm on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
So,
I know that feeling.
I'm on Apple. I'm on actually Amazon Music is where I found you guys.
And we're on Amazon.
I'm sorry, I said Apple. I have Amazon.
I'm really bad at this because after I click yes, I completely forget what we're on.
Okay.
I mean, I know we're on Spotify because I have that.
Yeah, we do that with the podcast.
There's so many.
Once you upload it and let them put it on whatever, it's impossible to kind of know where you're at.
Like, do I send it to this like Thailand streaming service? I don't think they're gonna get it.
Yeah, I want to correct myself. I said Apple, and I do realize Apple has a lot. You guys are on Amazon Music, which I was really surprised at.
Yeah.
That's what I use through my TV and through through the house, and I was like, wow, man, they got on this thing because I've had other bands and I've had other friends that are in smaller bands, and I've never seen it on there. So I thought that was really cool. So, and where else? Like on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess our social media handles are at Satanic Panic 81 for both Instagram and for Twitter. We're just getting back into Twitter now, and it was all prompted by the director, Joe Lynch, because he tweeted about us.
Oh, really?
And Bruce and I are like huge Wrong Turn fans.
Okay, yeah.
Like especially, and he did the second one, which is the best one because it's got Henry Rollins in it. So I was like sitting on the couch, and I just see this alert come on my phone. And I like yelled to my wife. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
And where did I see you guys on Twitter? I think it was on Twitter. You guys ended up getting reviewed in a pretty big magazine, right?
Oh, yeah, we got in Rue Morgue magazine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They give us 4 skulls out of 5.
Oh, nice.
4 skulls out of 5. And Rue Morgue, if you don't know, it's one of the big kind of horror magazines, right?
Yeah. When Fangoria went down for a while, that's like the big one.
Yeah.
Been around for quite a while.
That's the one that we did the
really
review for the book on. The Michael Gingold book, Ad Nauseum.
Yeah.
It's all about the newspaper clippings of movies from like the 80s and 70s. He put it together, and it's a Rue Morgue thing. And
one of their publications.
One of their publications.
Oh, okay.
It's a fantastic book. But I was trying to remember if that was the same. So that's really cool, man. You guys are kind of getting out there. You got directors mentioning you. You're getting reviewed in magazines. You're on Amazon Music.
Yeah. It's been a lot of hard work, but we've gotten a ton of support, not only from our families. Like Bruce and I are both married. We both have kids, and they haven't left us yet.
Yet.
So
well, yet.
My parents.
My wife actually, she just bought me a new synthesizer tonight.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Christmas present, but it came and she didn't want to wrap it.
I get that. I get that.
My parents have hated every piece of music I've ever done up until this. They've hated it. They've said they've been quote unquote supportive, but they're
there.
Well, I mean, I guess you kind of got to understand it with like being a hard, like into hardcore and punk.
Yeah.
Their generation is probably a little bit different.
They're lame, yeah. But
They like Gordon Lightfoot.
My dad actually printed out those posters that we were giving away at Connecticut Cult Classics.
Yes,
my dad made those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's super. He's like he called in a favor. It's a Jersey thing. I'm going to call in a favor.
I'm going to call in a favor for you.
But yeah, and obviously, we've gotten support through you guys, and Larry has been just exceptional.
Yeah.
So we've been just really, really lucky that I'm in my 30s now and finally making music that's resonating with a few people.
Found out about you guys through the fact that we sponsor Connecticut Cult Classics. And you guys sponsor it as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the original time that I remember just seeing your ad up on the screen and going kind of like Satanic Panic 81, because it doesn't really on it say, you know what I mean? Like it was like, is this a podcast? Is it a website? What is it?
People were coming up to us at that thing and being like, what are you?
Yeah. Yeah, because then I met you, I think, at one of the last shows.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit, and then it's like, okay, it's a band. It's music, and then it's awesome.
Did you go to the Gremlins one?
Yes.
How was it?
It was good.
I bet you it was so good.
It was good. I will fully admit I was so Gremlins was first, Die Hard was second, and I was in and out of consciousness through the last half hour of Die Hard. I was just too tired. Those are tough because
it's tough.
The second movie starts at like 10:15, and I'm 43. I mean,
10:30 is my bedtime.
Yeah,
and I got to drive like an hour and a half to go back home. So
yeah.
So I have yet to make it through the second movie without having to leave her. Because if I bring my wife with me, she's. She chases around my kid all day long.
Yeah.
And so she's like, we got to go. Like
we actually had a great horror experience at the last year's Christmas one, because I don't remember if you hadn't, but I had never seen Black Christmas before.
No, not.
I don't think any of us had seen it.
You never seen that one?
That
No.
was that's
a good one.
Awesome. That's like a classic. And like I'd heard of it. I think I saw the remake, like when they were doing all those remakes at one point, and that was a really good movie. That was a
good time.
creepy movie.
Margot Kidder's in that one.
Yeah.
That's the first slasher movie. That predates Halloween.
Yeah.
And that one's really, really good.
It was
So,
so
a lot
creepy.
of well-known people in that.
John Saxon, right? From
Yep.
Yeah. and that was the movie where I learned how the FBI in the 70s would trace a call. There's this giant room somewhere, and they got to run around all these hydraulic presses and find the right one. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
John, what is the number here at WESU? Because I almost totally forgot. We have a copy of The Sacrifice Hunter to give out, and I'm gonna pose a trivia question for some of the horror fans out there. They can call in, and if they get the answer correct, we're going to send them out a copy of The Sacrifice Hunter.
Now, of course, this only goes out to people that are not affiliated with Pint of Comics. So any of the six-pack, you're not allowed to call in.
Yeah. But I haven't told any of them this yet, though.
Okay, good.
So the question is in Friday the 13th, Part 5, all right, we're going to stick with a horror-themed question, which I believe was a new beginning. Is that a new beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. In the actual film, even though the killer appears to be Jason, in the end, it's discovered that it was never Jason at all. It was someone dressed like Jason. So if you call into WESU, and John's going to give you the number in a minute.
Or less.
And can give us that character's first and last name. The character. I don't want the actor. I want the character's first and last name. And I'll make it easy on you. You can cheat. It's out there if you look for it. Call in, and we will send you a copy of The Sacrifice Hunter on cassette. And it's not just cassette. Don't go, I can't do anything with cassette. It's got in it... what do you have? A sticker? You got buttons.
Patch.
It's got a patch. Oh, and by the way, it has a download code. So if unfortunately the cassette is to you kind of like I can't do anything with this, you can still listen to the album. So call in at John. What's the number?
860-685-7700.
Call in. John will answer the phone. You give John the answer.
I will. Oh yeah, I will.
We'll discuss the answer, and if so, let us know, and John will write down your address, and we'll get it out to you. And that is courtesy of the guys from Satanic Panic 81. So thank you guys. I do want to ask you a question. We talked about this a little bit off air. What is the genesis of the name?
Oh, so I grew up in a time period where everything you did was evil. Like my parents thought if you played Dungeons and Dragons, you were going to get into Satan and stuff. And so I was just like around the Satanic Panic stuff. Like I knew about it and I knew what it was. And it like anytime I heard that something was bad, I wanted to rent it.
Okay.
I wanted to listen to it. So like, heavy metal music and horror movies and stuff like that. So I was just, I love reading about serial killers and things like that. So it was just an obsession of mine. Like, I've always been a horror movie person.
But you told us in particular the 81.
The 81 is the most violent year on record in New York. Wow. So I wanted to... there's actually a movie about it called The Most Violent Year where there's really no violence in it at all. But it's just about like a small company during that time period.
Oh, is that the one with Oscar Isaac?
Yes.
I've actually wanted to see that.
It's a very good movie, and I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's one of the few good parts of those new Star Wars movies.
And I loved him in Ex Machina as well. Did
That's
you see
a
that
good
one?
movie. Yeah,
that part where he's dancing terrified me. But I didn't even know that until I saw that movie. I didn't know that it was I always knew it was really violent because I followed like New York hardcore and stuff in the 80s.
Right.
And I wasn't alive when that was happening, but like all you hear about is like it was like a war zone, and it was really, really dangerous place to live. My dad used to tell me that he used to never go in there because it was just so scary that you were gonna get robbed and something bad was really gonna happen. So he's still scared of the city, and I'm like, it's really, really, really.
It's not
nice.
Yeah, it's
a lot better, man. I'm working it every day, Monday through Friday.
Oh, you work in the city?
Yeah. I fix garbage compactors. I'm like a hydraulic mechanic.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So you go to all the places that I used to go to, like way down in the lower east side and parts of Brooklyn and the Bronx. I used to deliver for a company up here, and we'd go all over the place into these.
Oh, I'm telling you, they have me everywhere. I was in Brownsville, Brooklyn the other day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Every time anybody says the Lower East Side, I just think of Johnny Dangerously. The Lower East Side. This really sucks.
That's certainly it sucks to drive through. I'll tell you that much, especially with a trailer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've never driven in New York City in my life, and I don't think I ever would. I just no.
DC's worse. DC's way worse.
DC.
I'll
Right.
agree
That's
with
a
you
lot of like roundabouts and stuff. Right. Like a lot of.
It's just the traffic.
Insane traffic.
Terrible.
Yeah. That's like not like so. In New York, you know what time the traffic's going to happen.
Yeah.
In DC, it could happen at
any point. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Boston's a pain in the ass too because it's just they're all one-way streets.
Yeah.
So
I've driven in Boston.
Yeah.
New York City just doesn't.
Of course, there's no blocks either.
Yeah. I
it's
saw
all cattle paths.
One of the few Facebook memes I ever saw in my life that made me laugh was like. A picture of a grid of New York City, and then a picture of Boston, and it was like New York City. We laid this out for you to get around. And the bottom was in Boston. F you. All right, so we're at about the 10-minute left mark, and I think we talked about your beginnings and how you started and everything. And I want to talk about what you're moving into. And you said this was okay to talk about. We talked a couple weeks ago with we mentioned before Curtis Spieler, the director of Sheepskin. And The Devil's Well.
We have to see.
I haven't seen the Sheepskin yet. I got to pick that up. But I really did dig The Devil's Well. So he's a local Connecticut director, writer, actor as well. And he's currently working on another project, a movie currently, The Girl in Apartment 6, I think it was called. The Girl in Apartment 6, I believe. You guys are going to be working with him pretty soon, right?
Yeah. I guess... We had met for a little bit at one of the Connecticut Cult Classics shows. It was probably the one where the Texas Twosome one.
Okay, yep, that was a fun one.
And it was because he said he picked up a poster and then he checked out the music and he dug it and he sent us an email and he sent us a couple clips so far and what he's about to put out looks really, really good. I don't want to give anything away.
No, that's cool.
We're very, very excited to work with him because it just looks really cool, and it's kind of we've done a couple of other films before. We did Amityville: Evil Never Dies was like a low budget Amityville spinoff, and we did two. Short films from this director in West Virginia called his name is Brad Twigg, and he put out a short film compilation called Omnibus of Blood, and that was basically me just like hitting up directors that I knew online, like, hey, put me in your movie sort of thing. Right. So to have someone like Curtis, who's like I said, like what he sent us, it looks really, really great and very, very scary. To have him interested in working with us is really awesome, and I'm very, very excited.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So is there any timeline, like in terms of like are you writing for that now, or are you writing for?
So we still have to see a rough cut. He's only sent me a couple clips, so we're gonna check out a rough cut. Probably within the next couple weeks. I'm gonna hit him up after the holidays.
Yeah.
And see what he wants to hear and what he had in mind, and find a place where our, hopefully we can come together on stuff, because what he's asking for the film is stuff that we love. He likes the noisy drony stuff too, subdued stuff. So I'm very afraid of saying the wrong thing because I don't want to give his movie away at all.
We can stop right there.
But
we can stop right there.
But yeah, so we're just gonna spitball ideas off of each other, and hopefully he's gonna like what we have to say.
All right, Bruce, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So the Sacrifice Hunter, I was talking to Brian before we got on the air, and so you have a soundtrack to a movie that doesn't exist. This thing lends itself to being written into a short story or maybe a couple issue comic book series. Would you guys ever think about that? Is that ever a thought where you take this actual property and move it past the musical and actually come up with more story for it?
I don't know. I kind of like that it's like a standalone thing, like it's for a fake thing,
Yeah, no, I think
it makes it more intriguing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know if it was maybe ever a thought where it's maybe someday we'll, or the Sacrifice Hunter 2, another album in the line of that same idea.
I mean, we both love Friday the 13th, so there is a very strong possibility that the Sacrifice Hunter Goes to Hell could come out, or maybe the Sacrifice Hunter in Space. I mean, all those things are all those things are possible. They're on the table.
Okay. All right, just
we got to make everybody's got to make a space album.
Yeah, but at any point, do you make an In the Hood album? Like if you're going with the Leprechaun, because he was not only in space, but he was also at one point in the Hood.
In the Hood.
Yeah.
He was in the Hood twice.
Yeah. Oh, was he really?
Oh yeah, there's two of them.
Wow.
And Bruce just saw the new one, right, Bruce?
Yeah, I watched the Leprechaun Returns the other night. It's not so hot.
Wait. Beep, 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 beep. This just in.
Is it Warwick? Is it Warwick Davis again?
The guy Ozzy who swallows the piece of gold in the original film.
Oh.
They kind of make it out that he has that piece of gold in his stomach for 25 years.
Oh yeah.
He was in the Pee Wee Herman movie. He was the one that the rich kid that Pee Wee Herman. Francis. He almost drowns him in the bathtub.
Yeah. So does spoiler alert, Bruce? Does Jennifer Aniston come back for this one?
Oh jeez.
No.
I didn't think so. I figured she probably didn't. And it's not even Warwick Davis, right? It's some new guy.
Oh really?
That's
I'm not a big fan of the Leprechaun. It's hokey and it's dumb, but it's an annoying movie. I want me gold the whole time. It's the only line that Warwick Davis has in the whole movie. So I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
This new guy's even worse.
I can only imagine.
Even worse.
Even worse than Warwick Davis. Leprechaun 5.
I loved Willow. He's fine in Willow.
Yeah, my problem with Willow is he yells. What does he yell all the time in that one? It's Val Kilmer's name. Mad Martigan! No. Mad Martigan! Mad Martigan! That's his speed. He just yells out people's names a lot.
Go Annie!
So guys, what do we have coming up in the next couple of weeks? Anything else? I mean, I know you guys just recently did a single, right, for Pet Sematary?
Yeah, we did a single for Halloween. We were just so stoked that we had at that point, like I said, sold out of copies. At least we sold out, we don't have anymore.
Right.
That we were like, well, we want to do something cool for Halloween, so we have an original song called Flight of the Vampire Bats, and then we did, we're both huge Ramones fans, and obviously big Pet Sematary fans, so it just made sense that to do that cover, and we got Nathan from Boy Sets Fire to sing it, which is a thrill for me because I've always, growing up, I loved Boy Sets Fire, and I just hit him up on Facebook, and I was like, would you be interested in doing this? And he's like, oh, yeah, of course I'll do this. This is great. I love this.
That's awesome.
So hopefully we do a couple more of those down the line.
Like famous songs from like horror movies?
Like Goodbye Horses, I think, is on the table from Silence of the Lambs. That would be fun.
Oh, that scene, yeah.
And then there's that one Alice Cooper song
The
from
Man Behind the Mask.
Yeah. That's what. Which one is that one in? I forget.
It's I can't quote.
It's not Jason Goes to Manhattan. Jason.
No, it's before that.
Yeah.
It's before that.
So there's that one, and
Part 8.
Stigmata Martyr was another one I wanted to do because I love Night of the Demons.
Mm-hmm.
And
you haven't seen that?
Oh, so great.
Is that Bob? That's not Bava, right? It's
I'm thinking. Oh, I'm thinking
director,
of.
I mean.
I'm thinking of the one with the kid from European Vacation. What's that? That's not Night. That's Night of with the little slug type things. Night of the Creeps.
Oh,
Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
That's such a great movie.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
Such a great movie.
Slugs.
Slugs. That was one of the first movies I ever saw when I was a kid on USA's Up All Night.
I was a big USA guy, and the Joe Bob Briggs thing, Monster Vision, I watched it all the time.
Yeah,
I had no real friends.
I guess. I guess just last night or Friday night he did another on Shudder.com. He's doing these like
but he did
marathons.
Yeah, I figured he was going to do Christmas movies, but he just did like 4 Phantasm movies.
There's only 4 real Phantasm movies. Anyway.
Sure. One of them was Ravager.
Oh, why? Show off 1 through 4
Just 1
tells
through 4.
one story, and then Ravager's like this weird. Let's get Angus Scrimm on screen before he dies again.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, there's a bunch of movies that he could have put in there. He could have done Child's Play, because that's kind of a Christmas movie. Not really, it's close, but there's a bunch of other ones.
That's right. He is
Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Gremlins,
yeah,
for sure.
Gremlins 1 for sure. Yeah. Gremlins 2 is great on its own.
Sure.
Just because it's just such a weird movie. They threw so much stuff in there. All right. Well, we got Uncle
Critters.
John coming up in a couple minutes with Dead Air, and he's going to be on for a while. And then later on tonight,
after 10:30,
it's going to be all Sir John taking over the airwaves and playing some music. He had a Devo CD, so good for that if you're a Devo fan.
I'm diving deep.
Tune back
Devo?
in.
Which Devo?
It's a newer one.
Yeah, it's one of the new ones. He'll show you afterwards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Devo.
But
Devo's the best concert I've ever seen in my life. I saw them right after I got married, like the day after I got
Really?
married.
Cool.
Yeah, I got married in Vegas, and I was at that punk rock bowling thing, and they headlined the first night of it, and they destroyed. They were really good. It was the Damned and then Devo. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Bruce was at a Rush concert that night.
Bruce was probably at a Rush concert.
All right, so Satanic Panic 81. Everybody check them out. Nobody called in, which we're not surprised that we get a lot of callers.
Yeah.
But I will on social media. We have a pretty good presence. I will post those up there, and we will get someone to answer that question, and then I will mail it out to them. So again, we'll do that. Brian, Bruce, thank you for calling in.
Oh, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
that's
I really
great.
appreciate it, and we're gonna plaster your name out there for sure. And I really dig what you do. I also want to say before we go, thank you to Brian for coming down.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Brian and Bruce were cool enough. We didn't have an outro tune that we use normally here on the radio. A lot of times I'll just throw on like something from Star Wars or something like that. So they let me take one of their songs, and I cut it up a little bit so it kind of fades into John's show. So we'll be playing that on the way out tonight. So you're going to get to hear some more Satanic Panic on the way out. There is a little vocal snippet from a movie at the beginning of it that is not part of the album, but if you're a genre sci-fi fan, you'll get that. So until next week, John, who's next week? Who do we have?
Next week's Michael Kelleher.
That's right, Michael
Closing
Kelleher.
out our year.
Closing out our year. He's a great art historian and
Second time.
Yeah, second time. So we've had a great time. So guys, thank you so much for coming on, and we will talk to you very soon.
Yeah, really.
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
All right, and here's a little bit more Satanic Panic 81 for you.
We are leaving!